have through him and his blood that cleanses us. And we just give you glory and honor for this and what you've done for us, each and every one. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, we'll go ahead and get started in here. I know all of you had a chance to look at your board packets and things and review all that. And glad to see all of you and glad everybody could be here. We've got some consent items on the list. Do I have a motion to approve the consent items?
I'll make a motion to approve all consent items A, B, and C.
Thanks, sir. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Doc. Any discussion at all? All right, we'll roll call this. You?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. McCallum?
Yes, sir.
Tom?
Yes.
Doc?
Yes.
And myself, yes. We've got superintendent actions next. I'm sure y'all have had a chance to review all of those. Any questions regarding that? If not, then we'll move on to new business. First item on that is bid approval for gasoline and diesel fuel. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Motion.
Do I have a motion?
Dr. make motion.
Thank you, Doc.
I second.
Thank you. Got a motion and a second. We'll roll call that again. Doc?
Yes.
Tommy?
Yes.
Mr. McCallum?
Yes.
Mr. Anna?
Yes.
All right, sir. And you as
Yes.
well? And myself, yes. All right, and the next item we have on the agenda is the bid approval for a Type C bus. Diane, the supervisor at the bus garage, is not hardly here yet, so if it's okay with other board members, I'm gonna move that towards the end of the items on the agenda to give her an opportunity to get here, so if you have any questions about that, I just think that's a fair thing to do for everybody's integration.
She may or may not, it just depends on how the route goes, but I think I can answer, but I'd rather her hear directly.
Well, and we'll give her that, I think it's fair to give her that opportunity in case any board have questions about that. So if that's all right, we'll skip on down to item new business C, backup vendor for the Chromebooks. I know y'all have had a chance to review all of that. Do I have a motion to approve that? This is for a backup vendor.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, since we're spending money, we'll go ahead and do a roll call. Doc?
Yes.
Tommy?
Yes.
Mr. McCallum?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Anna?
Yes.
And of course,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Thank you. The next item that we've got on the agenda is the BOE Connect annual maintenance fee, and this is a recurring thing that we do. It's nothing out of the ordinary or new. However, it is $3,000, and it provides you with the information there of what we receive for that each year with the BOE Connect. Are there any questions involved in that?
Can you tell me exactly, or big picture, kind of what that is?
That's this program that we're using for the board meetings.
Okay.
They house all of our agendas and minutes. We can vote online, all of that.
It does a better job of condensing it in a more professional manner. It takes a lot of hours out of it, and really takes the human error aspect out of it a lot too, and transferring it.
They manage the software, something goes wrong. Okay. Thank you.
Doc, one thing that, just to add on to what you're saying, not to drag it out, but one thing I really like about it is it allows us to put all this up here where the public can see it in case they can't hear us speaking. And I just think that's good that people can see what we're talking about, and it's right there in front of them in black and white. So we've had discussion on that, and I'm sorry, going back up a little bit. Do we have a motion to approve that? Have we already?
You don't have a motion, so.
Okay, a motion and a second. So we've already gone through it, and that's the only question that we had.
I got it. I could have some, yeah, thank you.
All right, any other questions related to that? All right. And I got off track here just a little bit, so we're ready to vote for that, or did we already vote that, Lynn?
Ready to vote.
All right, so Doc,
Yes.
Tommy,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Amy,
Yes. Yes.
Jay? All right, and myself, yes. Thank you. The next item we've got on the agenda is selection of the legislative liaison. And I'll let the director explain what that role actually is. It's kind of new. We've had one, as a former board member, so if you don't care to explain.
It's
that.
actually a new, I think it started last year, and it's a direct link to legislature for us to voice our opinion and for us to get information directly back from them. I don't think we can make somebody do it, but we have to have somebody appointed, at least the emails. It can't come to me or Robin or it's gotta be one of y'all. So we would love for you to be active in it, but at the same time, I don't think we could mandate you had to do it, could we? I mean, but as active as you could be in it would be great. If anybody would like to volunteer for that, or
What is the time that would be invested in something like that, or?
this is a new, I can't give you an honest, because I would, Robin, I don't have a clue, do you? Because it would just be the legal, I would say, like what we're getting,
Yeah.
so that
This
you come
started
directly.
last year. Tennessee School Board Association started this, and they want to contact.
It was right at the
every
end.
board- Every board has to give up a contact. And then what they actually require for you to do is they'd like for you to attend this, if you haven't attended the school hall session, and then they'd like for you to attend at least your district fall meeting. And then if they do the day on the hill where they do the advocate stuff, if you can make it, that's from the Tennessee School Board Association.
I think it's more to create a better relationship directly with the school systems.
And then that gives you a point of contact, like you was saying, especially, more so it'd be more emails, laws, looking to change this, you need to get hold of your state senator or congressperson to for or no against this, and they bring it back to the board and say, hey, I got an email. Probably, I don't think it happens every month, maybe possibly this.
And
month,
we're
so-
probably getting the same,
Yeah.
Tracy's
You're
getting the same
actually get
emails.
the same thing.
Yeah, but they just want to create a better partnership with the board.
I imagine this is in response to vouchers. It's the TSBA's response to get people in to, at a more local level, to voice their opinion on that issue. It would be my guess, but I think it's a good thing to be involved on that level of advocacy, especially if you have interest in it.
Now, how much time it involved, I don't know. Mr. Glover was the one last year.
And we reappoint every year.
You have to reappoint every year.
If you remember, we got, the one point last year got in, it was late, I mean, only like 2 meetings or something, wasn't it? And I don't think we had a chance to get very active in it after the way it started.
I don't want to put a stone on anybody's shoulder or anything like that, but Tommy, you've been pretty involved in some of that stuff. Would you be willing to volunteer for a year to?
I would probably volunteer for a year if nobody else really wanted to do it. I mean, it's just kind of like a point person, I guess, is what it is.
And if he'll coach me along, I'll volunteer the next year. I just don't know
That's-
anything
be
about
all right,
what's going on
Doc.
right now, and I apologize for that.
Well, and you know, and I'll say this, I don't want to drag this out, but like, it'll also give you a little opportunity to kind of get your feet and get to the state training and all that stuff too. And if you all want to interact, you know, whatever, but we're going to reappoint every year anyway, so that's fine.
I was, thinking, it'd be hard to put a new member on this right off the first year. So, yeah, I'd be willing to do it for a year.
I know looking back for, when I first got here, I sure wouldn't want it on my shoulders first year. Well, I'll tell you, can I get somebody, I know you're gonna volunteer, but can I get somebody to make a motion to nominate Mr. Manning?
I make a motion that we
Thank
nominate Mr. Manning for this position.
Thank you, Marty. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Doc. All right, so all in favor, we're not spending any money, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you, Tom.
Approval for school level Chromebook purchase. I know you've had a chance to look at that. Do I have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah, as y'all sit here, y'all seem to think we buy a lot of Chromebooks. And you make sure you stop me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying it wrong. I think we've got it now where every student in the school system has access to a Chromebook, and we did that over the years, which helped really big when COVID hit. But kids are hard on Chromebooks, so you're always having to replace.
Their lifespan's what, 3 year?
Yeah, I would say 2
We,
or 3
we
years.
try to stretch them 5, but realistically, about 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a bunch of kids accidentally drop them and stuff. So you'll see this periodically every year that we're having.
And we've got a whole lot of them through grants, and we had one private donor donated several $1,000s last year. So we've been very fortunate in the way we've got the money too.
I know my second year, I asked the question, why are we buying so many Chromebooks? And it's every year. But you can see there the list of what's taking place with their school, the number of Chromebooks that are proposed to be purchased here. So are there any other questions with respect to that?
Do we have any instructions telling them, they got to take care of these things, or?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they've got a maintenance agreement.
I'm talking about the students.
But you get into a lot of how you can enforce some of that.
Yeah, accidents happen, sure. If you had a student
But we do have.
that lost 2 or 3 of them, or broke 2 or 3 of them, do we have any recourse?
We do, yeah.
Yes.
But you get into, economically disadvantaged
Sure.
and some situations, students with IEPs and stuff are under a little different, but yes, we do the one we can enforce.
Any other questions? All right, well, if not, we're spending money. So we'll do a roll call here. Mr. Hassett,
Yes.
Mr. Ennis,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes, sir.
Tommy,
Yes.
Doc, myself, yes. And Doc, appreciate your questions on that. That's a good question. The next item on the agenda is the work and bid approvals for the wellness centers. I know you've had a chance to look at that, and I will let the director speak on that for a moment.
Did we get to vote on that?
Is it not showing you?
No.
It should.
You scroll the bottom.
Which one did we
All the way
not?
to the bottom?
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
I'm at the bottom. You at the bottom? I didn't get to vote on that, did
It showed up on mine.
It showed up on
I?
mine.
Show up on mine.
It shows it's in process.
That was a curve, but I didn't make that.
Yeah, it's still circulating.
Did it pop up there, Rob?
Yeah, see where it says under agenda item, it's.
Yeah, if you come on down, it's on there.
I'm in the wrong box, man. Did you get yours? Scroll that back. Oh, I see. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Are you good now, Tom?
Yeah, thank you. Never seen that.
Well, the first time I seen it too, I kept scrolling and finally saw it at the bottom there. Back to the bid approvals on the wellness centers, and I want to I know you may have some questions on that, but before we get into any discussion, having looked at it, and then if you have some questions, do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve it. discussion.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I know the director would like to talk about that a lot.
I would highly encourage I wish each and every board member would see the buildings. I never dreamed we could have something like that in Smith County, especially two of them. They are absolutely phenomenal. Being there off the charts, what we thought they'd be when we started. It's going to open up a lot of opportunities for a lot of different things for kids after hours. I've actually talked to the judge about trying to write a grant to maybe even do some of the community service hours to get them off the street, so to speak. And let us do some sign-in stuff, and maybe get a grant where we can hire teachers or people who works for the system to come in on the weekends, and with our card system, we'll be able to tell who comes in and out of the buildings. But we'd love to give you a personal tour. I'd love for you to see them, because I never thought we could have anything like that. Sure didn't think we'd have it, not have anything in it, totally free for the county. So, Ben's done a phenomenal job, putting it all together and with our contractor. But, and we're just where we're at, progressing now. We're getting down to the paving and the asphalt and the concrete sidewalks and so on. So that's what the stuff is about tonight.
How far are we out? I haven't, since the doors got, I don't get to go in and walk around like we usually do on the weekend. How far are we out getting close to getting the floors down?
Floors, we think will go down this next week. And then they're really close. They're kind of just staying on a pattern going from that building to this building. That one, we really thought we'd be close to being in after fall break. And this, I would think, 45 days behind after Thanksgiving.
Really hoping now, probably, just with any kind of contingencies going on, probably just to give ourselves a little bit, but Thanksgiving and Christmas will probably be where we're at.
The Gornsville's it's pretty close.
Oh, they've got their painting and their cover, and the flooring's there. I went over and opened the box and see what the flooring looked like. They really pretty much got it done, but laying the flooring and the artwork, or whatever we do on artwork. Just like the plumbing and that stuff, but.
You all have a chance to get with the director and walk those off and see some of that work. It's amazing. And again, it costs free to the county.
100% cost free?
Yes, sir.
To this point.
Yeah.
We think we're staying
paying
back
just
right on.
with the buildings and
Yeah.
structures and
Yeah.
things.
I went to Gornsville today.
Say it one more time.
I went into Gornsville one day for a minute.
Very
I
impressed
was just over
with
there. It's pretty big.
it. It's a big deal.
Very nice.
It's a big deal.
This is 3,000 square foot bigger than that one.
You need to see this one back here.
Now they set that one down in that, it was just the way that, it wasn't trying to make a difference, it just, all we could fit, we had to put the heating and cooling units, we could set them outside over here, or we had to put them inside over there, and just the restraints of the way the parking lot, we got 2 full courts of both of them.
Yeah. Go back there and see that sometime. It's massive.
They're really nice.
It's massive. Any other questions related to that or discussion?
Again, I wish, be happy, I wish that y'all would come, and we'd love to show it to you. I mean, you one-on-one or go after the meeting, or like you'd see them.
It's hard to, he and I went down about a month ago and walked this stuff down here. It's almost, you can't imagine, it's nearly staggering when you walk in there and see the size of those things. It's massive. And then, of course, the way it's going to benefit our children in the community, that's hard to pay. That's just hard to pass up on.
And they're actually gonna be bigger enough for every sport. If they use the right shoes and clothing, they'll be able to use them. And you got the curtain pulled up, they're monsters.
Any other discussion on it?
What's the deal with the woods work on the very top paragraph?
What?
The woodwork.
Can't get nobody to do the bidding? Can't get
No,
nobody to bid?
we turned in those bids, several, I don't know, a few months back, and there was a list of stuff that we bid out. Well, you're gonna get some bids on some things, or some we just didn't. So our general contractor was actually gonna handle all the wood, so you all approved the wood work. And
I
it's
think he's asking what the actual, I think he's talking about the floor joist in,
Well, it's the mezzanine stuff, it's on top of the classroom space, so that's where the majority of the woodwork's gonna come in, so it's kind of a, where our contractors have described it to me, it's kind of a deck area.
Okay.
talking about above the
Above
post
it.
office and stuff, yeah.
Right. The reason this one's probably higher, not probably, the architect made us use a bigger eye joist in there.
Well, it's got a lot more span, it's a,
Yeah, so it's a
almost
bigger
double-
space,
It's
bigger
almost double
outdoors.
the decking too, as
Yeah.
far as actual square
Right,
footage.
so it's just a bigger space,
Okay.
yeah. And then we didn't have any other bids, and we went out and tried to solicit a few, and,
Okay. All right.
yeah. So we've kind of, in other areas that has happened, our general contractors handled those.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, we've got a motion and a second. Mr. Hessen?
Now, you'll need a motion for the money.
I already made a motion.
Did you have the money motion? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Since we're talking about money, Mr. Hessen?
yes.
Mr. Enid?
Yes.
Marty?
Yes, sir.
Tom?
Yes.
Doc?
Yes, sir.
Myself, yes. Thank you. And I encourage y'all, listen, you know, we don't want to like drag on all night long. I know everybody has things, but ask these questions. I mean, that they can give you the explanation of those things, and that's a good question, Marty, and always ask them. Let's go back. I don't think Diane's here yet. Let's go
There she
back.
is.
Is she here? Well, you're just in time.
It's perfect.
She called my name, I called her name, she walked in, so let's go back to, new business, B, bid approval for one Type C 78 passenger school bus. And as you can see on there, the summary request to approve the low bid of $134,591 for one Type C 78 passenger school bus from Central State Bus Sales to replace the 78 passenger bus that was totaled in the accident in May of 2024. So I know you've had a chance to look at some of that paperwork. To get to discussion, do I have a motion to approve this? Thank you, Doc. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Now, discussion. I know we're gonna have a little bit, so thank you for being with us. Anybody has any questions? Miss Diane, the supervisor with the bus garage, and director here, and I'm Tommy, probably has some commentary on it, so feel free.
This is replacing the bus that Victor Lane Williams built.
Yes,
That
and
back in the
it's,
school.
Brian Leslie was the driver, and he drives the conventional. And I know we prefer the snub nose typically, and for years it was only a couple $1,000 difference. The insurance gave us $130,000 to replace this bus. A brand new snub nose, in addition to being 15 months out, is $155,000. I brought the bids with me where we just bought one and are waiting on it. We cut over $100,000 out of my budget to get everything to work. I don't have an extra $20,000 to shuffle out when we only got $130,000. So when we were looking at possibly buying a used bus, I had called a couple of vendors to get a ballpark, and then when they gave us the 130, I talked to Mr. Smith, and he said, well, let's replace what we got with the 130 because it's gonna be close. So, I mean, it's your guys' final decision. But for a $20,000 difference, I don't think the few issues that we have with the Type C equal $20,000. I've got 7 of them down there, full-size buses, the drivers ride them, 54, 56, have held up just as well as the Type Ds that are the same age. They've been on the route 12 and 13 years. We haven't had to replace leaf springs, 64 and 65, which are newer buses. We've had to replace the leaf springs for some of these county roads. So I get that the front end is lighter, but put to the test, they have held up on these same county roads as the other, and I just can't see not saving $20,000, which is why.
Well, I don't know what you pulled, we were very fortunate on the insurance, we were actually negotiating about 60 or 65,000 on the loss, and ended up getting 130.
And apparently the new policy was replacement value, and I gave them the list of the 2 companies that I was aware of that sell used buses, but they're not in Tennessee, and Tennessee is so strict with their stuff, they had to give us the cost of a new bus to replace
If I just
it.
quit fussing and wrote us a check for a new one,
Yeah.
the lower price.
Is it a diesel or gas?
Diesel. Everything's the same, it's just the conventional versus the snub nose. And most bus companies there are more conventional buses on the road in the United States than there are snub noses. They're tried and true. I get it, on our back county roads, they can beat them up, but they're beating up the other buses too. And like I said, for apples to oranges, they may be, but $20,000 is a lot of money. When I have 6 or 7 down there, we've driven for 10 or 12 years with no other issues, basically the same as my snub noses. I prefer a snub. That's what I learned to drive in. It's like putting on a comfortable tennis shoe. The drivers that are in the conventionals prefer the conventional. They don't like a snubby. They handle different. Barry Cook, Brian Leslie, Millie Adams, Larry Hackett, who's in my other one? Billy Randall Smith. They are all in my big 78 passenger snubbies, and they would, conventionals. And Barry Cook will drive a 12-year-old snub nose or conventional bus before he'll take a brand new bus. It's just the way they handle, it's what they're used to, they work on their routes. But the ultimatum is, because I know even I prefer the snub nose, I can't rectify a $20,000 difference in price.
Just a point of clarification, and I appreciate you saying that. We have it in our budget for this, but to go with the other type bus would exceed our budget.
No, where this bus was involved in an accident,
Right.
It is not in my buses. Those buses are already ordered.
Right.
So there is no money in my budget for this bus.
Well, speaking in another way, we have the money to pay for this, but if we go the other route, it's going to exceed our budget that we've set by $20,000. Is that correct?
We've got a, let me
Yes,
say this,
because-
we've got a system. Well, instead of buying a fleet, like a lot of them, we buy 2 a year.
Right.
That's what we do. And
Or
it works out
sometimes 3.
pretty good. That way, we're not having to hit a big chunk. Well, this got her out of rhythm when this bus got totaled. And that's why she's had to replace the bus. Otherwise, the other was already in the budget. See, the other two, that's reason it wasn't ordered, or they'd be in, she'd be a year behind too, that's what she said.
But this one is just being replaced with insurance.
Right, where we got
Insurance money will put her
130,
back
yes,
in
where
rhythm
we got
with a new bus.
130 for it, we would be short $20,000. The other part of that is, they're telling me I can get the conventional in 6 to 9 months. We are still waiting on a bus that we ordered over a year and a half ago. It's supposed to show up in November, that we paid $155,000 for. We've just bid 2 more that you guys approved, and we went with the snub nose. And those are not expected to come in till August or September of next year. So $20,000, I can get the bus 6 to 9 months. I need a bus.
Actually, this bus, it's gonna save you on the back end in 2 or 3 years, where we're gonna catch, because you're gonna get a free bus.
Yes, because I'll have that one already in there.
And we stay within our budget.
There's a few specs on that bus that are not met. The width of it, wheelbase, a few things like that. That doesn't open us up to any kind of liability if something goes wrong, does it?
I don't know what, I can't.
Like the wheelbase on this one, I think, was several inches shorter than.
The wheelbase is, well,
I'm assuming that this.
I'm not
list here
sure
is-
which specs you guys
is
put
the
in there.
specs that we're supposed to follow. The axle, for instance, is supposed to be 23,000 pounds, it's only 21,000 pounds. Things
They-
like that.
Yeah,
That is-
they would meet or exceed.
Very minor, but.
Yeah,
if-
no, I mean, that's a good question. The Bluebird bus is a heavier build, like Tommy and I've always said. I mean, I believe in a Bluebird too, but I see your point, but.
This is a Bluebird.
Yes.
This, oh, it's still a Bluebird?
International bid.
It's a snub nose version, but
I think that,
they're a legal bus, or they wouldn't be being produced, you
this is the
know.
one for the bid.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't bore the new board members about buses, but I know buses. So I'm gonna sit here and be quiet, and then after y'all vote, y'all gonna talk to me after the week, I'll tell you my stance is on my buses that I choose, because I know how they're built. And I mean, automotive industry's been there 40 years, we supply them.
And it's a personal preference. I've drove both a lot. I like the snub nose a lot better. I can turn it around in a parking lot a lot easier.
Well, with the dimensions on these newer ones, that's not true anymore. It used to be.
Yeah, but I feel like I can see
So
out in front of him.
I'm looking at the specs, and the only ones that are Xed are, the full-length rear is the mud flap. It's not full-length because that's designed a little bit different now on the conventional and the snub. If it doesn't have an X in the box next to it, it meets or exceeds the specs.
Okay. I don't think that's got any particular page. I was just wondering if you.
But they would have to be,
Oh, yeah.
they would have to be safety, that's the bus beds
They
sold
meet all
across
of
the
the
continental United
Tennessee
States.
specifications.
Okay.
I spec other things on them and do different things tailored to what we like in the county. But they'll meet all of the state Tennessee specs. The alternator on it is a higher one than was in my original specs, and those things kind of change year to year, but they'll meet all the Tennessee specs.
Is this the first time we've got one from this particular company?
Now, all of my ones down there are Bluebirds.
Oh, okay.
Every conventional I have, we have
I
four.
just now noticed that they're out of,
We have 4 special needs buses that are the conventional, that are all Bluebirds, and I have 6 of the large 1 72 passenger, and 5 78 passengers, and every one of them are Bluebird.
You're running all Bluebirds right now?
Yes, sir. We got rid of the
Excellent.
Thomases we got rid of the Thomases years ago, and we had a lot of problem with the Thomases, but they say they're better built now too, but they haven't been in a couple of years.
What's the next step down from the 72-3, about 50 something, as far as passenger?
The passenger, it's 2 seats. A 70, I repeat your question.
This one holds 78.
Uh-huh.
You said it was 72 or 3?
72 would be the next
Then
one.
what's the next one after, down from 72?
It'd be a 66.
I'm just wondering, do we have any buses that are that full?
Yes,
We do?
where we've deleted so many routes. Now, they might not be full at all the times, but when they're at their main schools, most of our buses where we've had to downsize are filled to capacity.
Okay, I was just questioning.
Which, and a
You see so
78
many car riders
Right.
now that.
A 78, I'm sorry.
There's not that much price difference between the 78 and 72.
Well, I haven't been at 72 in so long, it would be hard to tell the last 72 passenger I
It used to
have.
not be much.
Right, it used
That's
to
what
not.
I'm saying, there's not
and
much there,
It
so
used to
people
not be a
back
whole
there.
lot different between the
Yeah.
conventional and the diesel. We were talking $2,000 or whatever, so yeah, I'm gonna go with a snubby. But like I said, and I don't know what the reason is, but a $20,000 difference, I cannot fathom not taking that and not spending that money out of our already tight budget.
I'm just glad to know that many people ride the bus, because it seems like
They do.
you drive by these schools, you think nobody rides the bus anymore.
Well,
They're all
the
back
seats
there.
are so high and the windows are so high, you can't see all your first, second,
I'm just
third
talking about the
graders.
people parked in the roads
Oh,
trying to
yeah,
get in.
that is true. And some of them I actually probably increased because when we had to modify the routes, we pick up kids all over at 6 o'clock in the morning, and when the parents live 5 miles from their school, they're like, why do I need to pick up, so it's a pretty even mix, but most of my buses are extremely full.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Again, appreciate you being frugal with our money and
I'm a tightwad.
keeping the budget in line. Appreciate that. We've got if there's no one else, we've got a motion and a second. We are spending money, so Mr. Hassan,
Yes.
Mr. Enid,
Yes.
Mr. McCallum,
yes.
Tommy,
I'm gonna abstain.
okay, Doc,
Yes, sir.
and myself, yes. Thank you for being able to make it and give us some detailed explanations about that. We do not have any items on for discussion. You have your annual policy reviews that I'm sure you've had a chance to look at. Madam Attorney, do we have any need for an executive session?
No, sir.
All right. With that being said, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I
Do I have
thought
a
Tommy
second?
wanted to make some comments.
Say it again?
No,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll second.
All right, so I have a motion seconded to adjourn. All in favor? Any opposed?
Is their next meeting on the regular date?
No, it's
If you go back to regular.
19th?
November the 19th, regular?
Yes.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate all of it.